We're headed out to the driving range. Time to make a video. The steel shaft in these old persimmon woods was heavy, and surprisingly enough, hitting these balls like this with this old driver, I thought I would hear the crack of the wood, and I really didn't hear that crack. They came off pretty buttery soft. I was really surprised. Now, I say modern clubs, but I use that term loosely here. These irons, I've had them for probably 10 or 12 years. My driver, basically the same amount of time. My 3-wood is even older than that. But until, they get to a point to where they're just not producing what I need them to produce, or I just happen to find a really good deal on some new clubs, I see no reason to change them just arbitrarily. So I'm not one of those guys that goes out and buys new clubs all the time. In this video today, I'm really struggling to sync my brain with my body. I know what I want to try and do, and here's kind of an image of it in a slow motion video. I'm trying to get to the top and simply sit. I thought if I sit to start my or to start my downswing, then the rest of it would just kind of take care of itself and everything would fall into place. That didn't really happen. And what I found as this session progressed is that it's probably going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort to try and implement these swing changes into somebody who's been playing the game for more than 20 years. But again, this weird move right here, this early extension, and where I kind of shrug my shoulders and really stand up a lot, it's hideous to look at. I can't stand to see it on video. But at the same time, the results that I'm producing, I'm getting solid strikes. My ball flight is fairly consistent where I want it to go, at least for an 8 handicapper. And I guess I'm at a point where I'm trying to just be more comfortable with myself and my swing and change the way I approach the strategy and the play of the game rather than change my swing. That being said, the channel is called Golf Test Dummy, and I told you guys I'd be putting some of these things to the test. No ball flight here. Don't know what happened there, but it was a decent ball flight, or else you would have seen me turn around and probably throw my club. But this is a hybrid off of the mat. And some of these ball flights, they show them going out really fast and coming down to earth quickly, and then other times it goes really slow. So I apologize for the flight. Here you can see exactly what I feel like, and my daughter's laughing at me the whole time. And this is what I'm trying to get to. Again, if you see some images of George when he's talking to his students and trying to show them the positions to get in, it's even more accentuated than that. But I think that's because he's trying to teach people how it should feel rather than what is actually going to be happening in the swing. And it's really based on a shallowing out of the club, which, as you can see coming into that driver, that was not a shallow approach at all. Yeah, I spawned that. That's mine. That's all me. My bad. And yeah, she kept saying it was loud. So anyway, all right. So let's sum up George Gankas. I like George a lot. He's not in his 20s, but he teaches a lot of people who are in their teens and 20s, a lot of guys and girls. He's out in California, so he's got the whole California vibe. So he definitely markets himself to the younger crowd, the up-and-comers. And I think what he's inevitably trying to do is influence the next generation of golfers coming up. The kids who are now junior golfers, who are 10, 12, 15, 17 years old, that next generation coming up, and even the early 20s, people that are already established, they may not see as many benefits from what George is teaching, as what he is teaching has a lot of, let's just call them awkward or alien body positions and movements, and quite frankly, some of the positions that he teaches and that he tries to get his students into are not positions that a lot of older golfers are not going to be able to mimic. That said, he's on Instagram all the time, and I see everybody from 7 and 8-year-old kids, men, women, and even older people. I've seen some older guys on there he's teaching. So he's not so steadfast in what he's trying to show you that he can adapt it and help you out. But I think the main benefits that you're going to receive from George are going to be with one-on-one, actual in front of you teaching. If you're in the California area, or you can afford to get out there to him and pay the fees for his lessons and all that, and he can work with you one-on-one on site, I think you could really benefit from it. But as far as taking what you see in videos that he puts out, or content that he puts out, or even what he's teaching, and trying to teach it to yourself, if you're an older dog like me, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I think that it's going to take, just as with anything in life, it's going to take a lot of effort, it's going to take a lot of time, you're really going to have to work on it, it's going to take a lot of practice. You can make those changes if you so desire. Personally, I'm not going to try and change my swing after trying out some of these techniques. I'm sure that if I gave it more time and I gave it enough practice and effort, that let's say 6 months to a year from now, I could have a completely different swing. But my swing right now, even though I have that weird early extension that just makes me nauseous when I look at it on film, the results that I'm producing lately are pretty good. I'm hitting the ball really solid. I'm getting decent ball flights, and it's pretty much in the area that I want to go most of the time. And it's definitely something I can play with. For now, I'm focusing more on strategy and my mental approach and things like that, places that I can improve my short game. I can definitely improve there. And he gets into a lot of the tech, a lot of the technology that you see nowadays, like the flight scope, the video, the high-speed cameras, training aids, all kinds of stuff like that. And he uses a lot of assistants to kind of help put his students in the correct positioning. So he's very much a tech guy. And I think with technology in golf, technology has definitely come a long way in the last 10 or 15 years, definitely. But I think just as with a golf club, there's a sweet spot. And I think that too much technology and over-analysis can be just as detrimental as not enough analysis and not enough technology. So there's definitely a sweet spot we have to find in the middle. Look, and if you're a younger golfer, or if you haven't been playing that long, I truly think that what he's teaching now is going to be the way of the future. I think that he's trying to build a stable of young golfers who are going to create a wave moving into the future of golf that is going to become the standard, or at least become a giant force to be reckoned with. And I think that's his goal. And he's accomplishing that. He does have a stable of young golfers and people coming up that really, when they get into it, it's kind of like this. I don't know if you can see it or not, but when he gets to the top, he's almost letting the elbow fly a little bit when you watch George himself. And then when they come down, they're really kind of attaching that right elbow. They're letting the club just drop way behind them and shallow out, and they're squatting and their knees spread out, and they get that move coming in like this. And for, like I said, for younger golfers or for golfers who are just learning, implementing something like that's not going to be that difficult. It just takes a little time, a little practice. But for an old dog like me, where everything's already ingrained and I've been doing it for over 20 years, it's a hard change to make. Go check him out, George Gankas, link below in the description. Again, thanks for watching and subscribing to my videos. I appreciate it very much. Help me grow. Please share these videos and leave me a comment below. Tell me what you think. Have you seen George? Have you seen what he's teaching? What do you think about it? Appreciate it. Till next time.